talk to us about the Drools. Tell us a little bit about what that is and how that came to be.
Yeah, well, this play started as many plays do for me, that I read something and it stuck. And then if I find that an idea is rolling around in my head after a period of time, that's the sign to me that I should probably write it and look a little further. And what I had stumbled into about 3 years ago was, it was in a historical book about Shakespeare, was how we almost lost Shakespeare during the interregnum. I'll try to make this brief, but in English history, Oliver Cromwell overthrew the monarchy and imposed Puritan rule on England for a period of time, during which he razed Shakespeare's globe to the ground, and outlawed theater, outlawed all forms of entertainment. And the Drools basically were actors who became unemployed when the theaters were closed during the Puritan crackdown. And they took to the streets, and they were forced to perform very short improvisational comedy routines whenever the Puritan vice squad wasn't around. The Puritans would walk through the streets of London with big sticks and to make sure nobody was having any fun, basically. And as soon as they would, turn the corner, the Drools would descend on a street corner and they would do a quick improvisational comedy routine that people would throw, coins at them for. And this was how actors supported themselves when the theaters were closed.
We loved your idea immediately. It spoke to the current situation. It spoke to the past. It talked about art. It talked about drama. It talked about the challenges that artists face and the importance of the historical plays and Shakespeare. So it really was an amalgamation of everything that we wanted in a play. So you hit the bullseye.
Oh, good. Well, yeah. How do artists respond when they're caught by history? We're all caught by history right now. We're trapped by it, right? And so, how did the Drools respond? How did art survive? And that's really, that's what we're all dealing with, right?
Well, and true. And part of what we were afraid of was we didn't want to have a bunch of plays that were, about the virus. We didn't want to have these plays that were going to tell us what we were living in and those reminders.
If you're an artist, though, you have to be open to accidents. That's where things, that's even in the writing of a play. I mean, the proposal I gave you for the Drools, the play ended up very differently than the outline, because things started happening. You just have to follow that. That's how creativity works.
There's something specific about a playwright that's different than any other artist. And like you said, you pitched a certain thing and then it came out totally different. What is it like? I mean, you look at a painting and somebody says, well, I want blue there instead of green, but maybe they end up putting yellow. But with words, there's so many options. There's so many combinations. There's so many character traits and choices. What is it like to whittle down, something that you sculpt like a play?
That for me, writing is an exploration of something I don't know and something I don't understand, and also something I don't know how to do. So for every play that I write, I don't let myself repeat myself. And I always make sure that I have something in the work that I don't know how to do, because that's the only way I'm going to be able to keep growing. My mantra to all of my students is you get into trouble 100% of the time when you marry your given circumstances, when you have your concept or you have a character and you insist that they're 50 years old, or you insist they're a lawyer, or you insist you're writing a play set in Chicago. It doesn't matter what it is. The minute you marry any detail of the work, you have just reduced its possibilities and have put yourself into a corner. So I feel like I have these imaginary balls juggling over my head. And if it's usable, I use it. And if it's not, I throw it out. And if it's no longer usable, I change it. It just is always in flux. I know that sounds very woo-woo, but that's how I do it.